all. So now we start with the numerical aspect of the activity based costing. I hope the last video tutorial which was shared regarding all the theoretical components is quite clear to you, that how the activity is the main base for apportionment or for the distribution of overheads to the various products or departments. So today, with the help of a numerical example, I'll try to make it further more clear. But let me tell you the base again. If you remember, I earlier also in one of the overheads tutorial, I explained this, that suppose I have two production departments, P1 and P2, and P1 production department is manufacturing products ABC, and let's say P2 department is also manufacturing three products, and together they form one factory outlet, that they are within a factory. So how these overheads which are to be incurred within this factory boundary are to be divided between the department, the production department P1 and production department P2, and further in their products, that is A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, the traditional base which we used to have was that the blanket rate method. It said that you take the whole overheads of the factory and then you divide it with the base. Now I'll take an example. Suppose the whole factory overheads were 1,50,000. Now if I say 1,50,000 and the base which we used were hours, let us say 5,000 hours, labor hours. Let's say 5,000 labor hours and the factory overheads are 1,50,000. So we divide 1,50,000 divided by 5,000 hours, and we get rupees 30 per hour. Let's say this is the labor hour. Suppose this is the labor hour information. The base which we have used is the labor hours. Now a unit is requiring 10 labor hours. So if A is requiring 10 labor hours and I want to know the total overheads which I need to apportion to this A product, then what I will be doing, I'll be multiplying this 10 with 30. So the total is 300. So 300 rupees, 300 overheads are distributed to product A. Means we'll add in the cost of product A. Now similarly for B, C, D, E, and F. Now mind that we haven't paid any heed to the activities which are done. We are just taking this base. Now suppose the other accountant feels that instead of labor hour we should use machine hours. Then the rate will again change and the cost will be calculated in a separate manner. So the thing is that it depends upon the judgment. We can also say that the traditional method is a biased one of the distribution of overheads. So now we ignore the traditional method and we move forward to the new method. So what is the new method? New method is activity based costing. It says we should keep number one, check on that what are the cost pools. Cost pools, I can say the cost centers where the cost is being accumulated. Then the cost, we can say the drivers, which thing leads to increase in the cost. Then the activities. For example, if I say the activity is of inspection, inspection of what? Inspection of materials purchased. So what is the cost driver? How this cost of inspection will increase? It will increase with the number of inspections. And this number of inspections will directly vary with number of orders which I have placed for purchasing the material. So the thing is, this activity is correlated. The cost is correlated. So I come directly to an example now. We'll be taking this illustration. Please have a look. A company manufacturing two products, L and M, furnishes the following data. Output is given to us. The machine hour rate is given. Direct labor hour per unit. Total number of orders which have been handled. Total number of setups are given. This is something, a very new terminology till you haven't done in any sort of numerical. So that is why in the video tutorial of activity based costing, I was stressing on these costs. So annual overhead cost, it is related to, number one, it is related to machine activity, then to the production run setups, then handling of orders. So this is the overhead cost which is given in the question, and I have to see what is the best base for dividing the machine activity. So machine activity can be divided. These are the things which are given. Let us find out. So machine activity can be divided on the basis of machine hours. Then is this setups, as the name is sounding. So the best base is, the driver is going to be total number of setups. If I say relating to handling of orders, then of course we are given with the total number of orders which are handled. So dear students, the data is going to be provided in the question and we have to just solve. And what we have to solve? Calculate the production overheads which have to be absorbed by one unit of each of the product L and M using the following methods. Firstly, we'll be preferring the traditional method where direct labor hour rate is to be used. And the next is activity based costing using suitable cost drivers. These are the cost drivers: machine hour for the first cost, number of setup for the second, and total number of orders handled for the third. So firstly, we'll be using the direct labor, that is traditional method. So I'll be showing you how to do this question with the help of firstly the traditional method. So the traditional method, it used, I'll be writing it over here, using direct labor hours as base. So it is using direct labor hours as base for absorption of overheads. So what I am going to do, what is required? Firstly, the formula. What is going to be the formula? Formula is going to be the total overheads. So overhead cost divided by the base, and base, I know what is the base we are going to take. We are going to take direct labor hours. So let us find out these two things from the question. Firstly, what is the overhead cost which I have to divide? Have a look. The overhead cost total is given to us. It is 2,85,000. So I'll be taking this 2,85,000. And what was the base? Base was direct labor hours. Are we given direct labor hours? Yes, we are given, but they are given per unit. It is said for making L, one unit needs 1 labor hour. And for M, 1 unit requires 2 labor hours. So how many L have been made? 5,000. So 5,000 into 1, 5,000, 7,000 into 2, 14,000. 14,000 and 5,000 total, it comes out to be how many labor hours? 19. So I write down over here 19,000 labor hours. I'll show you again how I have calculated. So working note, let me make it over here only for calculating of direct labor hours. Total was that for L, there were 5,000 units and 1 unit took, it is number of units. And this is the labor hour. So direct labor hour. per unit. And this was 1. So what was the total direct labor hours? It was 5,000. For M, units were 7,000 and direct labor hour per unit was 2. So 7 to 14. 14 and 5 total is 19,000. So I took this 19,000 over here. So this is the total direct labor hour. So what is the rate? Firstly, over here it is rupees 15 per direct labor hour. So I'll be writing it like this. Now the question says we have to calculate the production overheads to be absorbed by 1 unit of each of the product. So how much per unit I have to give the data, but firstly let us see how many units were of L. So let us make a statement. So this chart will be showing statement showing absorption of overheads. So here I'll be writing the product item name. Product is, there are two products, they are L and M. So how many units? Units are, just see, we just wrote 5,000 and 7,000. And what was the number of labor hours? If I again want to know, it was 1. And over here it was 2. Just see, I'm copying the same. That's why I made it over that over there. Direct labor hour per unit. You can write in full when you write down in your notebook. So what next? What next is absorption. So now I have to absorb it on the basis of which rate? What rate we calculated? 15. So we are going to what write down over here? Absorption rate. Absorption rate is rupees 15 per direct labor hour. So I will be writing over here again 15 and 15. Now what you have to do is total absorbed overheads absorbed. What you are going to do? This column multiply by this, multiply by this. You have to just do the multiplication. So what is that? 75,000. And now do it for this. 7,000 into 2 into 15. So let us calculate. So it comes out to be 2,10,000. Now do the check. Do the total. It is 2,85,000. You remember we started in the question from 2,85,000 and it was the one which was taken as over here in the numerator. So just we have done the division. But the question is not asking the total overheads absorbed. It is asking about that how it is absorbed by 1 unit. So it wants to know the rate per unit. So what was the rate per unit? At which rate it was absorbed? It was absorbed at 15. But still we have given the total. So this is it, that the first part, and now we proceed further. The now is the next part. The next part is the activity based costing. Now for activity based costing, what you need to do is now here I am not going to write down writing the same way that which base I am using, because the base is going to vary and it is going to depend upon the cost pool. So what is the cost pool? First of all, I'll be writing the cost pool. So the cost pool is from the question I am writing down. First is the machine activity, the cost of machine activity. The second cost is production run setups, and the third cost is handling of orders. So this is the cost pool. And what is the cost driver? What was the cost driver? Let us write down the cost driver. For machine activity, the cost driver was, what was the cost driver? It was machine hours, yes. And what for the production setups? It was total number of setups. And what for handling of orders? It was total number of orders handled. So just see, we have these things. Now what you are going to do, how you are going to find out the rate of absorption. Simply divide the cost pool with the cost driver. So we'll be dividing first column with the second column and we'll be getting these rates. So now let me make I hope the things are clear, because I wanted to make the things clear instead of showing the numerical aspect. So just have a look. We will be using the cost pool, we'll be using the cost driver, and how the rate of absorption would be calculated. Divide cost pool with the cost driver. So I'll be showing you the other calculation part. So first thing, now I'll be using the abbreviation so that I could do it quickly. So the cost pool, first is machine activity cost, then is the production setup cost, and the third one was handling of orders. Now I'll be writing the rupees for this. So it was 2,20,000, then 20,000, and then 45,000. You can have a look over here. Just have a look. So we do the totals, 2,85,000. Now I write down the cost driver. Cost driver, now you remember the cost driver was machine hours. Now I'll be calculating machine hours over here. So just see what is the machine hour. Cost driver machine hour per unit, it is rupee. Just see, it is given 3. So similarly 15,000 into 3 and 7,000 into 1. So 5,000 into 3 is 15,000, and then we have this thing, that is, just see, 7,000. Yes, Bill, you're calculating it right. So we'll be using this method. So what is the total? The total is 22,000. So 22,000. You can write down over here 2 columns separately if you want, that how you have done. So here we calculate the absorption rate. And what here it will be called? It will be called machine hour rate. Why? Because it is divided by the machine hours. So 2,20,000 divided by 10 less. So 2,20,000 divided by 22,000. So it is rupees 10 per machine hour. Now production setup. It was on the basis of number of setups. So total number of setups are given to us, and nothing is per unit, nothing mentioned like that. The setups are given. So setups are always given like this कि हमने 10 बार machine को setup किया in order to produce 5,000 units, और 40 times setting हुई machines की, एक production run के बाद दूसरा के बाद तीसरा, and total 40 times we did in order to manufacture 7,000 units. So 40 plus 10 is what? 50. So I'll be writing it over here, divided by 50. So just see, it is 20,000 divided by 50. So it is rupees 400 per setup, production setup. Now I calculate the last one, handling of orders. It is again on the basis of number of orders. So what are the number of orders? Just see, it is 15 and 60. So 15 and 60 comes out to be 75. So I'll be dividing it over here over 75. So divide this thing with 75, and what we get? We get rupees. Just see, Yes, 600 per order. So this way I have this rate. Now again the chart as I made earlier, this statement showing absorption of overhead rate, this was as per the traditional method. Now I'll be making it as up to the new method, that is activity based costing. So statement showing I don't know why it gets hazy, maybe some setting problem with my camera. I'm holding the camera, maybe that's why. So showing absorption of overheads using activity based costing. So you write it like this. So now again, firstly the products. So which are the products? L and M. And now you know that these are the three things which I need to divide. I need to multiply rupee 10 with the machine hour. So of course I will be requiring one machine hour column. Then I'll be requiring one. Yes. So first is machine hour column I will be needing. And then I will be multiplying it with the machine hour rate. Right. Then I'll be getting the cost. The first thing. So the first thing is what? It is machine hours for L are how much? We used it over here. So 5,000 into 3, 15,000. So 15,000. And what was the machine hour rate? Just have a look. Machine hour rate we calculated as 10. So over here it comes out to be 1,50,000. So similarly, next one. Next is what? Next is M. M machine hours are 7,000 into 1. So they were 7,000. And 10 is the machine hour rate. So over here it will be giving 70,000. So what is the total? So total has to be 2,20,000. Just see the first thing. Machine expenses 2,20,000. We have divided it like this. So this is using ABC costing. So the first thing we have done. So this is the first part. Second is, let us again in product L and M divide. Now which the other one? Next part is what? Production setup. So I need to have the number of production setups, and then I need to have the setup cost per that is per production setup cost. So how many setups were there? Setups were 10 and 40. And what is the rate over here? The rate says 400. So 400 and 400. So multiply what is gives 4,000. And over here, how much? 16,000. And what is the total? Again, we get total. Do the total. So it is 20,000. Just have a check. We have 20,000 over here, the setup cost. Now is the third part of this table. The third part says what? What are we going to do? We are going to now calculate which one? The last one, that is handling of orders. So again L and M. So I need to have the number of orders handled and handling cost per order. So number of orders handled are given in the question, 15 and 60. And what was the cost? It was 600. So 600, 600. Now let us find out the total. So 15 into 600. So I get 9,000. And then 60 into 600. I get 36,000. Now let us do the total. So this gives us 45,000. So have a look. This is 45,000. Now this thing we have done, but I need to find out the total overheads as per activity based costing of product L. So what is the product L and M cost? I can simply take up these figures from the L, that is, and put it over here, 1,50,000 plus 4,000 plus 9,000. Then similarly I can do it for the M, 70,000, 16,000 and 30,000. 16,000 plus 36,000, and I will get the total. Let us see. Let us do the total, and this total comes out to be 1,63,000 over here and 1,22,000 over here. But now the question is, they are not interested in this. They only want the per unit cost. So what is the per unit cost of the overheads? So here I need to divide it with the number of units of L and M. And how many units were of L and M produced? L was 5,000 and M was 7,000. So L was 5,000 and M was 7,000. Now what we have to do is, I have to divide 1,63,000. Just see, I'll be dividing 1,63,000 with the number of units of L. And how many were L? L were 5,000. So the answer is 32.6. This you can make it in a chart form if you want. This is per unit rate. And then similarly, I'll be dividing 1,22,000 the thing which I got it over here with the number of units of M, and M is 7,000. So divided by 7,000. So what I get? Oh, something bad with the calculator. I think it is 17.43. So 17.43. Now just see 32.6 and 17.43. Rather, the traditional method said, what did the traditional method said? I like to put up this in a comparative statement form. Instead of writing it simply, I would like to show the comparison. Traditional and activity-based costing. So let us have L, M, L and M. Now let me write down the overheads. What were the production overheads? The overhead cost. L was, just see, it was using this method, traditional method. L was 75,000 and M was 2,10,000. So I'll be writing this 75,000 and 2,10,000. And in activity based costing, what answer did I get just now? Let me show it to you. First of all, 1,63,000 and 1,22,000. So I write in over here 1,63,000 and 1,22,000. Now they want overhead rate per unit. So I need to divide this with the number of units. So 75,000 divided by 5,000. I will have a rate, that is rupees, let us say 15 per unit. Now for M, I will be calculating 2,10,000 divided by 7,000. So how much it is? It is rupees 30 per unit. And for L, under activity based costing, 1,63,000 divided by again 5,000, क्योंकि इसकी units 5,000 है. So when I divide, I get rupees 32.60. And over here, when I divide 1,22,000 divided by 7,000, so what do I get? I get rupees 17.43. Just see the paradox. हम 15 रुपीज़ चार्ज कर रहे हैं ओवरहेड्स के फॉर एल, एक्चुअल में दे आर 32.60 and over here for M we are putting up 30 rupees, means we are charging very high, rather the rate is just 17.43. You know how it matters is, let me take an example. Suppose the material, direct material for L, we assume that it is the direct material cost for L and the direct labor cost also, let me assume. So I take example 50 rupees per unit. I take it per unit and I assume direct labor is 30. And now over here traditional method says that per unit is 15 for the overheads, and overheads are charged at 15. Calculate the total. So 95. Suppose I sell it at 100 rupees and earn profit of rupees 5 per unit. This is what the traditional picture till now, it looks good that we have charged overheads, we have even taken a profit. But now let me compare the same thing with the activity based costing L. So let's say the per unit data again, material price is 50, 30 is the labor, and what do the overheads say? Overheads say overheads hone chahiye 32.60, and we have really used I can say scientific method, because charging overhead cost on the basis of activities and not arbitrarily just using the direct labor hours as base, this gives a better picture, better solution to our problem of charging of profits and fixing selling price. देखो competition में we are feeling that we are in a profitable position, but just now have a look, are we really in a profit situation? So let us see, just see, we are selling a product at 100, rather it is costing in actual 112.6. तो कभी कभी आप देखते हो कि concern is working nicely, but every year it feels something bad is happening. They are not in actual position of profits as the rosy picture is presented in the financial accounts or in the accounts. What is the main thing is that the overheads are being not charged properly. Here it is using no arbitrary method, no judgment, no bias, and one thing more. Now with the automation, this method of absorbing overheads on the basis of direct labor hours, it is not holding a good proposition. With the automation, we should go for the new basis, and moreover, for example, wherever the product range is very large and the number of activities like this, if we divide the cost according to that activities to those products, we'll get a realistic cost instead of this hypothetical 95. Now I think you can very well imagine ये real है और ये this is unreal. We are at 112.6 even before our charging our profits, and here we are selling at rupees 100. So अगर इसको और इसको compare करें तो we are losing 12.60 per unit in the market. So I think activity based costing आपको समझ आ गई and you are able to understand well, and I hope you will practice with following the same base, the same steps, same logics and rules, and you'll be able to solve each and every numerical. So thanks a lot. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye bye.